Hello and welcome to Wikipedia Weekly Network, here where Albin Larsson and I, Jan Ainali, are editing Wikidata live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. I had a lovely day. Actually, a bit of a trip to a fortification and some photographs for Wicklow monuments. And yeah, had great food as well. Pretty good weather and so on. And how are you, Jan?
That sounds nice. I'm good as well. I've been working on some templates. I got inspired by another project and thought I might be able to do something here on the Swedish Wikipedia. I'm not finished yet, so not, but we'll see where it goes. What's on your agenda today for editing?
It's online with the bit of a trip I did today because I got inspired this morning to do something with Wikilove's monuments and Wikilove's Earth. So my idea is to make a query, not only to get me nature reserves for Wikilove's Earth, but to get nature reserves with a lot of monuments nearby, so I can combine the two efforts when I go out for trips. And
Same
you, Jan,
sometime, not going twice. Yeah.
exactly.
I'm I'm gonna continue with the things I didn't do last week, but I talked about merging municipalities, and not merging as in special colon merge on Wikidata, rather than two things merge in reality. How do we do with that on Wikidata?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I should perhaps just start here. Let me see if we're gonna try out a new view here because my browser is acting up, so this seems to be the best thing. So we're in wiki project gov directory, wiki project gov directory here on Wikidata, and we do have these different status things. And now I see there is 3 stars for the Netherlands, but there has been things going on, so I'm not sure they deserve it right now. So we're gonna take a look and see what we can do. So I'm gonna head in here to the Netherlands, and I already removed a couple of check marks here. There were 2 more check marks here because there used to be 352 municipalities. But after the new year, there's only 345. So let's try to run just the special municipalities didn't change. It was just the ones that are like the regular ones. So let's run this query just to see what we get. And it's a quite, in principle, an easy query because there's a special item for municipalities in the Netherlands. However, the way it's modeled, it makes this a little bit tricky to get only the current ones. So you see, I have to look for start dates and end dates in qualifiers rather than them being inception and dissolved. But let's run this one. I think it's pretty quick. Yes. So here we get it, and we get 352. We see here in the results. So it seems like we don't have any updates here. So hopefully we can add a few things, and we'll get to 345 by the end of this. Hopefully, we might not get all the way. We'll see. So I do have this great source, and this is an excellent thing because here we see what. Now this is in Dutch, but we see here that these two merged. So we see here the name before and the name after and the code they have. So we have 4 new municipalities and a bunch that was merged. Not really 4 new municipalities, because this one seems to be the same. And I think we're going to do that one last, because that one might be most tricky one. So I'm going to start with these two and just see how they look like. So I'll copy this here. I'll go over here and just search for it. I think it already exists because this was a known change and planned. So, of course, there were already Wikipedia articles written about this, about municipalities. And here we also see, so this was one that was ended. And you can see here, there's an end date, end time. But yeah, I am a little bit, I don't really like this modeling with the end time on the instance of. But this one is sort of okay because it has something else as well. But all right, that's how it's modeled, and it's modeled consistently more or less throughout the Netherlands. So let's stick with it for now. This one is more or less done. It has an end time. We're also going to see if it has replaced by. And I'm going to go back here to this because we can see here Herr Hugo Waard and Lachedijk, they merged into this new one. So these two ceased to exist. They were dissolved, and this is a new one. So we gonna check here if we have, so they were replaced. Let's see if it has it here somewhere. Yes, replaced by Dijk and Waard. And previously some histories as well there. So that's good. So on this one, we both had their stopping date and replaced by. Let's take a look at this one. See how that one looks. Nice. So it has the start time here. Not much to do here. We should also have, yes, both the replaces here. So this is really good. And this also gives us the link to the other one it replaced. Let's take a look with that on that. All right, so it has the end time. And does it have the replaced by as well? All right, it did. So this seems to be done already, this sort of merge. And as you can see, all the items are there. Of course, there are still Wikipedia articles about them, the historical, now historical municipalities, and then we have a new one item for this. So one down. Now let's take a look at the next one here then. I'm going to start with the Landard. And see if it's all similar there. So we do have the municipality. Here we have a start time, but not an end time. All right. Let's check the source again. So it didn't. So this is the new one. That's a different one. All right. So we'll have to end this one. And they use the date of 31st of December. So we're going to add here a qualifier. End time there. I'm going to add another reference here. Add this one as a reference. And that I looked at it today, retrieved. Right. So now this one has an end time, and we're going to see if it states which one is replaced by. Yes, it did. So that was good. Now let's check out the new one. This one looks good. It has a start time. Very nice. It also has the inception. So here we see the two different kinds of way you can model it. Here we have redundancy. I prefer this way with the inception. But yeah, this is a little bit messy having both of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to remove either of them because even though I prefer this way, this is sort of how it's mostly modeled in the Netherlands. So then I would have to go through and make it over all of it. And I might break something else as well. I don't know. And then we had replaces Uden. Was that the name of it? Yes, it was. All right. So let's check out if that had a start and end time. It did not. So we had to add that as well. If it reloads here, yes. So we can go and add end time. 31st January 2021. And we'll add this as a source again. To reference URL. And retrieve today. All right, publish that. Let's see here. Yes, hello. That puts it over our faces when we're down here. All right. So now we have an end date here. That's going to be good. Let's double check we have the replaced by. I think we do, because there was no warning signal on the. I think this is a symmetrical property. Let's check that to be sure. Replaced by. All right. So that's good. So now we have checked these four. Now let's take this big one. Where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different municipalities turned into one new. So let's go to the Boxmere Dutch municipality there. Did not have the end time. All right. And we could all sort of expect that, because we had quite a big difference in the query. So let's add it. And time. There we go. 1st of January. Let's add the reference URL here as well. Repeat it. I'm going to quickly search. I'm going to use the Control F to see if we have the replaced. Yes, nice. So we can just go to this is the new one. So this should have 5 things in the replaced. And it does, so that's really good. So I guess it's going to be a quicker fare just adding the dates here to the end time. Well, it's quick if Wikidata is quick. and I'll go with that's quicker even. The reference. Two out of 5. Let's check the third. All right. Yeah, so here there was an end time, but it was the other date, 1st of January instead of 31st. I'm actually not totally sure how it works here in the Netherlands, what it means. So I'm not going to change it. For my query, it's enough that there's an end time that's previous. Let's see. We're also adding the new municipality to item that have the municipality in the locate. Oh, that's a bot work someone needs to do, and that might be huge. Very good question, Vera. I'm gonna put that on my to-do list because and here people could please help me out because I'm imagining this could be thousands or tens of thousands of items that need to be updated.
And would you just change it, or would you add a end time? Because
No,
in Sweden we usually don't have the historical ones in that property, at least. But I
no,
imagine it would still, one wouldn't like to delete that information, so to say.
no. I think the proper way would be to say it was in this until then,
Yeah,
and then from this date it is in the new one.
yeah,
That will also make it easier to, like, if you want to make a query what was in the former municipality, you can actually get some results for that. It's going to be a little bit tricky with the times, but it's possible at least. The data is there. Let's see if this one had replaced. Yes, it did. So this one is sort of done. Yes, exactly. Add start and end time for them. So here we had one that is missing the end time. So we're going to add it. And we'll go with the reference URL here from here. And retreat. That's what we're going for. Yes. And it has the replaced by. Very nice. And then the final one on this. It did not have it. All right. So we'll have to add that one as well. So you could see it was a little bit inconsistent here in the way that some had it and some did not. And that's not very surprising because it might be someone who just knows that I live here and this one ended. So let's go fix that. And that's how we do things on Wikidata. We fix it together and you don't have to do everything at once. Any change towards a better modeling is a good change. And then retrieved. All right. So
Jan, could you zoom in a little?
Oh, yes, of course I can. I forgot when I we're doing here. Good reminder. I was switching my browser setup here.
That's why we are in this new layout as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, and do we have a replace here? Yes, we do. All right. So now I think we're done with all of these. Now let's go to the tricky one here, because here we have not the similar thing. Here we have Bemster and Permarend, and in the end we have Permarend. And I am pretty sure that this is not a new municipality with the same name, but the same municipality because it has the same municipality code. So let's go check here then how it looks like. Or maybe you can find the Bemster here. No, so because it was already fixed then. So let's see if we can find the search for Bemster. very slow. Bemster. Oh, and now I also found this little bug I found sometimes. So Bemster is underneath here. I have to find a tiny, tiny little thing to click. So we have a municipality. It has the end time. Nice. And now I think this one is not really replaced by it, but this one is rather merged too. So let's see what it has for now. This is after the border. So we still have the replaced by, but I'm pretty sure this one should be merged into this one instead. Let's open this one and see how it looks. This seems odd because it has a start time. This is like it was a new one. Oh. Oh no. So this one should still exist. Oh, well, we have a tricky one here because we have this article. I guess this is possibly by the city. Is there a third item for the city? Let's check. So this is about the city. That's correct. So we're just going to change this to removing the municipality here, bringing, or rather moving this statement over here and removing this statement. That's what we're going to do. So let's see. And if it lets us. So I want to move this to another entity, this one. Move claim. Let's hope it doesn't break anything here. Reload this page and see if it. Yes, all right. And then I'll change here as well because this is not the item for the municipality. Oh, I'm actually going to want to see more languages and see if I need to change more of them. Oh, there's a big mix here. So some are municipalities, some are human settlements. I don't know all of these languages, but I'm going to edit a few here. Let's see if it lets me edit some of them.
It would be rather impressive if you knew all of them.
Yes. So this is a city. This probably says something. Gemeinde.
What was the type of warning you got next to? Is it a gadget or something you have?
Which what?
You got like a warning or exclamation mark.
Yes. No, that's a browser spelling thing.
Okay.
Yes, so it's not Wikidata.
So it's complaining that city got a lowercase c.
Yes.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I see there's a couple of here that is probably going to need change because it says probably like municipality or something like that, but I don't know the correct word to change it to. So I won't change it now. So if you see this and want to help me out, if you know any of the other languages, that would be really good. Now I'll go back to the municipality item. I have to reload this one. Now I have two here with start time. I can remove this one because this one continued to exist. Well, I also should probably check here In the bottom, along the identifiers. Yes, so this one needs to be moved as well. And that was the same code. All right. And now this didn't replace the city. That we can remove. And then we want to have on this one, instead of replaced by, we have to find out the property number for merged. So let's check. Merged into the 7888. So you're going to move this claim on the same item to P7888, saying it was moved into. And let's reload that to see how it looks like. I hope we get some sort of warning or flag saying that I should change the other one as well. No? All right, so merged into here. But I think there's some separated from. I would like to say that this one got area from Bemster rather than replaced. And I think there's a property like that. Let's say search for area. That might be too many. Yes. Area code. No. I'll search in Swedish, see if there's gave up territory 2. That's gained territory from. That's what I want.
Right. So the same way that it's modeled in Swedish.
Yeah. So we're going to put, rather than replaces, which is sort of also did. Well, I'm going to move it to the same with gained area from. All right. I think that is all of the changes. Let's see my query here. How much of a lag do we have today? A few seconds. So let's see if I run this now, what we get. 345. All right. That's perfect. That's what we want. So now I can just go back to whoops. That's the banner for WikiVoyage. That's not where I want to go. Actually, I'm going up here. Netherlands. And now what I just did, I didn't change the query at all. I just changed the items so that it gave the same correct result. I can make a check here. I can even see if the total one gives 348. And give that a check mark as well, perhaps. All right. Yes, it did. Nice. So let's go with a check there and there. And it can still have their 3 stars. That was a little bit tricky, but it worked out fine eventually.
Indeed.
All right.
Let's jump into what I intend to do then.
Yeah.
So I'm on Wikidata, but I'm gonna head straight over to the query service because my task today is to kind of make a tool to which I can just enter the municipality I'm in and get nature reserves because they are in Wikilab's Earth. And I want them ranked by how many monuments from Wikilab monuments they got so that I can maximize the profit from trips.
Love it.
So that's the task for the day, and I'm thinking we're gonna do it a little bit fancy as well with maybe SparkPL templates. We can select the municipality in a drop down and things like that. So first of all, nature reserves in a municipality. That seems like a starting point. Select everything because I'm just getting started. No, I'm selecting nature reserves, and I'm not gonna spell that the entire time. So that's just gonna be NR, and they should be an instance of. No, I'm ahead of myself. That's the property, and here we go to select nature reserves. And this can be a little tricky with nature reserves because in different countries they use different items here. So let's see if I know it's the one for Sweden. Um, yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna see that in just a moment. And I want that to be inside of the municipality located in, there we go. And what's a good municipality? Flen, which many times has been ranked as Swedish, the most boring town in Sweden. I'm not sure I can testify for that, but that's just how it is. 18 results. I got no labels here, so just let's verify that it is indeed nature reserves. It is. Um, this one actually contains monuments. Let's see if it will be reflected in later on. Okay, then we want to start checking and ranking them by nearby nature reserves. And I think there is a good way and a bad way to do this. So I'm gonna start by doing it the bad way to see what the benefits from the good way
All
are.
right.
So let's see here. I want to select the monument. I'm gonna call it M because yeah, EDT, and all monuments in Sweden got the property heritage designation. So I'm gonna filter them out by that rather than instance of because they could have like a ton of them, like grave fields, stone setting, and so on. And their heritage destination should be monument in Fornminnesregistret, like that. And here we got monuments, but we still want them in the same municipality. Located in, there we go. And make sure we got the same one here. Flen. Oops. There we go. And now, of course, I could select just the nature reserve and the monument, but I also need their coordinates to know the distance. So I'm gonna do that down here, the coordinate location. There we go, and I'm gonna call this monument cord again. Make it simpler for myself. I want the coordinate up here as well. No. And that should be NR chord. Something like that. And I could run this now, but there would be a ton of monuments and nature reserves. I'm not even gonna try to. It might very well pass, but it's just not providing me any valuable information either. But now I'm gonna use a filter here. And this is where I think we're starting to do something really bad. Because we know we're picking all the nature reserves and all the monuments in the municipality, and we'll start comparing to see how far away the coordinates are. So we will do that with a filter, as we often do when we do chord compensation of some kind. So we will do something called GUF, which is the namespace for the distance function. Do something like that. And here we just want to put in the various coordinates. And the order doesn't matter because the distance is absolute no matter what. And I want that, I think, pretty sure it's in kilometers. I want that to be less than 1 kilometer because that's the benefit of me going to nature reserves, having them being close. And this should now run, but let's add the survey label service here for the sake of it. And let's make sure we get Swedish. So I want the nature reserve. I do not want the monuments, but I want the nature reserves labels. Enter label, and I want a limit for now because I'm still not ranking it, so I just want to make sure I get the right things. I'm not selecting a distance either. But yeah, let's see what this is returning. We got a bunch of nature reserves, and you can see we get them multiple times, and that's essentially because of the monuments part here and the filter. So now we want to count.
Oh no. Did we drop Albin? I'm gonna see if he's coming back. There you go.
Here I go. You did indeed lose me. Oh,
No.
good. I didn't continue, so that was good.
So you were about to say count.
Yes. So now I want to count the various monuments here so I can rank the nature reserves. So I will start by doing count up here. Count the monuments as, and this is a function, of course. So I need to wrap that like that as m underscore count. And I also need a group by then. And I want to group them by the nature reserves. So I need both the label and the nature reserve itself. Gonna run that. Still, I don't have the sort, but we can see that we got the number of monuments per municipality in a very per nature reserve in a very neat way. So going from that, I want to add an order down here. Order by ascending m count. And I'm actually going to make sure to select the label here for the nature reserve so I can get a map. Because when I'm doing a trip, I would very much like that. So I'm going to run that, see what happens. So we already got some interesting results here. We got Aspö Nature Reserve, which got 17 monuments within a kilometer, which very much value for that trip if I could make all of them. And as we scroll down, we see less and less monuments per the various reserves. Um, Now this starts being problematic, I believe, because what if I select a larger municipality here? Let's do this one. Hopefully, this will now end up being problematic. Oh, we did. Did I replace the wrong thing down here?
Yeah. You're taking the city, not the municipality.
Oh, speaking of multiple items for similar things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Two
right.
down.
It just says municipality. Okay. In the description of the item. So I'm picking, oops, I'm gonna put that in there, see what happens. Oh, it actually returned this time. That's a neat thing. Rather speedy as well. Um, that a couple of ones which would be very valuable. Actually, that's neat. Um, I do, however, want to improve it slightly. So currently, when I need to modify this for something, I need to change the municipality in two places, and that's annoying. So I'm gonna bind it to a variable up here. So I'm just gonna assign VD and then the current municipality I got on hand as municipality, and I'm gonna reuse the variable here for my query. So you just need to change it in one place, like that. It should run, but oh no, it got a lot slower. The magic of the query service. Maybe I get a timeout so I can showcase the better way of doing
Yeah. And as
this.
Nicholas says, there's a way to do this with values as well.
Yeah, values is even better for a lot of things because you can make like maps of values in a very neat way. Yeah, I wish we could get a timer here so I know when it's about to time out. But let's start doing it the better way then. Um, because currently what we're doing is that we select all the nature reserves and all the monuments in a municipality, and we need to compare everyone. But there is a better way to do it in Wikidata, which is using taking this nature reserve and just checking for everything within a kilometer around it, and then just getting those directly that way, and then we can use filter for monuments. So I'm gonna replace essentially this section here with a service, similar to how we use the label service, and it's even auto completing down here. So it's the Wikibase around service. So I can take a place, and I'm just gonna change that to the monument I got here. And then we can see it got auto coordinates. And I think we've been showcasing this a couple of times here. But what it does is that it tries to pick your location as you're running this query. However, you can actually just pass a variable containing the coordinates of something else. I can take the nature reserve coordinates. And the radius here is already a kilometer. So it will take everything within a kilometer from this first one. And then all I need to do is to do filter for the monuments. So I don't get all items but just monuments, which I can do down here. And another benefits of this, which kind of side effect of what I want to showcase, is that the borders of the municipality no longer matter, because previously, if it would have been close to the border of a municipality, we would have lost monuments on one side. But this section here ignores the municipalities entirely, which is beneficial for me because when I'm out there, I'm allowed to pass the borders between Swedish municipalities.
Yes.
Um, So hopefully I didn't miss anything when I did the changes here. So let's
Well,
run this. And we
you do have double filters. Do you need that?
no, it will even break it because I do not have that variable anymore. And does that matter? Do I need that somewhere? No. Let's do it like that. Yeah.
Woo!
So it got a lot faster. We
A
just got
lot
the
faster.
timeout, and now it's like in milliseconds. Um, so that's neat. Um, that's a better way of doing it. Clearly. Now I want to improve it even more because switching out this one here, while it's a lot better when I just bind it, there is actually a feature of the Wikidata query service that could make it even simpler, and it's SparkQL templates, which is essentially a comment. Oh, without autocomplete there. That's great. So it looks something like this. And I'm going to showcase this from scratch essentially. So it says template English here. Let's just try to see what happens here. So I can say, I want someone to be able to select a municipality in the dropdown. So I can say municipality, and it's the municipality variable here. And that is, and here I define what variable someone should be able to change here. And it's the municipality one. And then I can make a query returning ID actually changing this. So I want this query to select all Swedish municipalities. And that should act as a filter. So I'm gonna need to figure out if they share an instance of all Swedish municipalities. And I'm sure they do actually in this case. But I'm gonna check the QID anyway. And we see Nyköping here, an instance of municipality of Sweden, which is exactly what I want. And I'm gonna copy that QID. Gonna head over here, and here's say instance of it already says, and that should be it. Let's see. I'm gonna run this, but then I'm gonna click on this information button here. And then we can see that we got a drop down here which says Nyköping municipality. And this now makes a filter which allows me to use, if I want to go back to another one, it autocompletes them. And when I change this, it also changes in the query and runs it, apparently.
Ooh.
Let's see, does this work with the map? Can I have both of them like that? I can, that's neat. And of course, title. Which should be monuments near. No, it shouldn't be monuments because the focus are nature reserves close to any monuments. Something like that. And I imagine I can, oh, it does all of them. So up in the top here, we can see that it put a title, it put a title here, it got the map, and it get the template as well. I think that's are about the various comments as we can get. I think there are one or two more special ones, but yeah. However, I'm not seeing which one here like is the highest ranking one, but I'm gonna leave that for today, I believe. So if I head back to the table, I can see that Lerbo Beast, I got 16. I just happens to know where on the map that is. It should be, that's not it. It should be, oh, it should be that one, I believe. Yes. So here we got 16 monuments nearby, but it would be rather tricky to select the monuments within this query. So I think I showcased probably more than a year ago that we could make a query that returns orchard queries, and we can just click them and then they make an auto query. So that's kind of what I want to do. So I want to make a new query for just the monuments near a particular nature reserve. So I'm gonna be a little bit cheaty here, and I might copy all of it for the sake of it. Gonna remove this part because it's actually gonna be a little bit annoying later on. So here I just want monuments. I just want the monument and the monument label, label, and I still like this bind part, so I want this to be nature, so we got a QID for nature, so here. Let's pick this one. And put that in there. And it's a nature reserve this time. That's not important anymore. And I want to, from this nature reserve, select its coordinate. T, because I want that in my around query later on. And type to search for an entity. Coordinate location. And underscore cord. So let's see, what are we doing here? We are assigning the nature reserve to NR. Then we're asking for its coordinates. Then we want monuments. Get those locations. I'm gonna call them cord to do similar things. And then I want to get things around the nature reserve coordinate. Okay, that makes sense. The formatting here might be a little bit off. And then use monuments. And then I do not want to group anything by here. New order. And I think that should be it. I got a bunch. No, I want to select the coordinate as well. Core, so I can get a map. Something like that. And let's see if we can do the map as well. We can, so that's all the monuments in the area. And now here is the neat part. I want to essentially, from this list or the map this generates, I want to be able to click on a link, which takes me to a query like this. And the Wikidata cursor is neat in that way that it gives us this link for each query we make. So I can actually just copy this and bind it to something here. So I can bind this long string here, like that, as URL for now. And then I need that in my group by here, URL, and I can go URL up here. Now, of course, it will just be one URL, and if I actually head over to the table here, we can't even click it because it's just a string. However, I can just wrap it in URI, and it will be treated as a link. And this is mostly a UI thing more than a Spark UI thing. And by doing that, it should be clickable. Here we can click it. The problem now, however, is that it will always take us to this one, which got the nature reserve as this QID. So I need to find that QID. I'm actually going to copy it in this string here. And then we need to replace that QID with whatever QID we got for the nature reserve up here. So I'm going to make a search for it. There we go. And let's make sure I just get QID, nothing more. So here, in between the two strings, we need to insert that QID. And we already got the nature reserve, which is that, but that is not just the QID, it's the entire URI. So we first need to turn that into a string. And with that string, we need to replace the URI part or the namespace part with a replace function. And the replace function takes 3 arguments. One is this string we want to perform something on, which is this. The URI we use turned into string. Then it's I don't know the order of those two. Let's see. The part we want to replace, I imagine, and what we want to replace it with. And we just want to remove a part, so we can just add the namespace here. http://wikidata.org/npd/. I think that's it. Let's hope I got that right. And if that's it, it should already modify this to the right QID. Let's see. Let's see, I go to the table. Oh, it just got a blank. You're right. Something went wrong. Um, let's see. What could it do? Did we get a replace right? Is the first question. What happens if I just replace nothing with nothing? Do we still get nothing? We still get nothing. That's interesting. Um,
Do you need to have parentheses around the replace?
I don't think so. But one
All
thing we
right.
can actually try here is to break this out to its own bind and see what it returns like this. Bind. You can actually comment this part out temporarily and bind use this part to URL temporarily to see what does this return. And again, I want the table. So this actually
Let's see, it looks
returns
right.
just the QID. So that seems right. Which is concerning. I was hoping that would be wrong, so I knew what to fix. But let's call that. Let's still have it split like this: QID, and then do QID. Oh, of course, you don't merge string with plus signs in SparkQL.
That's
Um,
JavaScript.
that's a bunch of programming languages, but it's not Spark.
You
So that explains it.
need to concat it.
We need to use the function concat. And concat is a great function because it just takes how many arguments one wishes to pass to it. It should just be comma separated like that, and that should be it. Let's do that and see what happens. No, it crashed because I missed a parenthesis at the end, I think.
Yeah. And you also call it QI and QID in.
Yeah, that's also a valid point.
There.
Here we go. So we can click those. We got the URL here. That's a different nature server. That's Vaspy, so that makes for a good example. It probably filled it correctly, and I should have made it go to a map directly. And yeah, we can see the various nature servers within a kilometer around it, which is perfect. I can even see on this the Wikimedia map tiles that a couple of them are within the nature reserves, so that's super practical. And of course, what you can do if you got the time for it or want to make something similar is that you can, instead of doing a query like this one, you can actually, for example, already do the default map view, and you can also get the link to the result. Oh, I want a long link to the result. How do I get the long link to the result
Is that the
nowadays?
embed?
Maybe it's in the embed one. Yes. I think this is the way you need to do it. So you need to copy this. Let's do it. We got the time for it. But can I do it? The box is very small. There we go. So copy that URL. I'm gonna do a new temporarily string thing here. Oops. There we go. No, I got too much.
I got everything anyway.
There we go. And I still want to find that QID in this particular one. Got the QID here. It's gonna search for it. So that's 7 until the Q. And I might as well just quickly change out this part here like that. That looks correct. And oh, I got everything here as well. Then copy the string here. Let's see. Please, browser, go until end. No, we're gonna do it a different way around. Here we go. And I think I should just be able to replace everything within inside of contact. And again, I should do this from this way around for some reason. Here we go. And I hope I got everything correct here. So if I run this one, let's see. Oh, I want the interesting one. Oh, that's kind of interesting. And if I now open that in a new tab directly, it should be running everything and give me the result like it is. So here I get everything within a kilometer, which also gives me the ability to, like, when I'm planning something, like, yeah, I could get around here, but maybe I would skip those two, and so on. So that's a neat query, and I really like this one when I was playing around earlier today, because I only did a couple of things of the various things I showed, but it showcases a lot of features of not only SparkQL but also of the Wikidata query service editor, and I think it makes for a lot of interesting applications actually when you start to play with it.
It's too long though.
The query is too long for, but that we can solve by heading over to wikidata.org and creating a page for it temporarily, or not temporarily, but just, let's see. Let's make a new page for queries. No one knows when that will be useful. Oops. Oh. Okay. I can edit. And can I insert the template, the SparkQL template? Yes, that one. That one. Will that just work? Oh, I think it did. I want to give this a header so I can link to it. Maybe that one, yeah. And I can just copy the title here, which I can correct when I'm onto it. Publish page. Okay, let's see. Oh, that looks neat. And I can create the URL directly to this by doing something like this, I believe. There must be a gadget to get those links quicker, but this is how I do it. If you want to link to a specific header like that.
I missed the last one. Many monuments.
There we go. And then I'm gonna head over to v.wiki, because that's the quick way to the. I should be able to shorten that one. At my shitty way now.
Yes.
So I can share it with you. There we go. And that's today's query.
4IXC. That's almost a Roman numeral.
Oh, indeed.
Well, that was very nice. A lot of things to combine there, and it also shows the versatility of the Sparkle, the UI.
Yeah,
that lets you sort of putting in things into it.
Yeah, and while I might use this to like plan trips, I imagine many people could do like really advanced maintenance queries and things like that with it as well. It's really flexible in that way.
How well does the? Oh, it's. I don't think we will solve it here today, but for a thing like this, it would be interesting to know how the template works on your mobile, because it seems like
Oh,
it should be extra powerful there because the Sparkle query editor is not very nice in the mobile. But if you just have this template set up and you can change it, then maybe it actually is quite useful.
can you see this? I should be
Yes.
able to move it into pretending to be mobile somewhere, but I'm not used to this browser. Let's see. Is it here somewhere? Oh, yeah, here it is. So
All right.
that's what the query service should look like on
Yeah, and if you use
some
the
type of
template thing
mobile.
there, then oh
Oh, right, it becomes like a pop-up like this. I
yeah,
imagine it could work.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
There,
maybe
there might be a
maybe
few
this.
things. Like one of the things that bothers me is that you can't delete a line in the mobile.
Oh, like an entire line.
Yeah. So
That's easy.
if you
You
get
can
many
select
empty
it.
lines.
Right. Yeah, but I still think it could be useful if you like share it somehow. Um, that's neat.
Yeah.
I don't use a cell phone myself, so I rarely got use for it. But
But there are sometimes, it's sort of like you see someone having a question about a query and like, oh, I'm not near a computer right now, but I
yeah,
think I know this answer, and you like have to try to solve it from the from the phone.
great.
Yes, that was great. Super. I think we'll be back like normal next week.
Indeed.
We haven't decided what we will do, but we'll have some time to think until.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
we got long backlogs, both of us, I imagine. So we will have a neat topic.
Yeah. And until then, happy editing.
Happy editing.